Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. It's Brother Raya. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Mashiach, Malak Yahushua. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but they're building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, being diligent, taking notes, being steadfast, doing everything they can do to magnify the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty akwaf in this thing. They actually sincerely reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts of our foremothers. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty akwaf that are not married as of yet, doing everything they can do to magnify the name of the Lord, the children, the household. Last but not least, another strong shalom to the whole entire nation on fire for the Lord, doing the works of an evangelist, man, in the last days, making their body living sacrifice. There's going to be a breakdown. It may be quick through the spirit, it may not. It's all of the Most High of enduring the furnace, man. Because, a lot of people that are in this truth, but can you endure? The whole thing about this truth is endurance, man. You have to understand that this is a race. And in any race, everybody wants to sprint and shoot, to the finish line. But you have some people that get weary, they get sidetracked, they get tired, they faint, right? They go down. All of these things befall these men, on a race, and these women on a race, man. Right? Let me get this quick precept through the spirit. And let me know if you could see my screen. Bear with me. Right, give me a strong con if you can see the screen. All right, let's go to the mighty book, right, of Ezekiel, chapter 22. It's the mighty book of Ezekiel, right, chapter 22, and verse number 14. Right, and it reads, "Can thine heart endure?" So that's a question. The Lord's asking you a question. Can your heart endure? Can your heart endure when your lights go out? When your family are there's distress and they leave you, man? When you're poor? When you lose your job? When you have ailments on your body, man? When really stuff hits the fan? When it's World War III? When all hell breaks loose, man? When the Lord tests your faith? Because it's not always about World War III and Jacob's trouble. Because the Lord could come and test your faith, man. You say you're enduring. You say you love the Lord. And the Lord's going to test that, man. Because any good husband, you understand, is going to do what? He's going to prove his woman. You don't just lay down with a woman after just meeting her. We have to understand that we're betrothed unto the Lord, man. And what do men do when they're betrothed in a woman? They try them. They court. They literally go back and forth and they try one another, man. And the Lord has showed us he can take care of us. He can guide us. He can lead us. He can build us up. You understand? He can give us all things. But what are we going to show the Lord in return? Can we endure the Lord proving us, man? We've already proved the Lord. We've seen the Lord die on the cross through the Spirit, man. We've seen the earth open up. We've seen World War III on the rise and the prophecies coming to pass. But what are you doing for the Lord, man? The hardship, the endurance. Can thine heart endure? Or can thy hands be strong in the day that I shall deal with thee? So everybody on earth has a day where the Lord is going to get up with you, man. He's going to test your faith, man. Your faith may be high, it may be low, but in that day, the Lord's going to deal with you. The Lord has spoken it and will do it. So you can't say, well, I don't know if it's going to be me. The Lord's not testing me. The Lord's not dealing with me. I don't know what I should do. What's going to become of this, man? You can't be faint. You can't be weary. We're all going to be pushed and made through the fire, man. Men, women, and children. And in that day, can your heart endure, man? Let's go to the mighty book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 20. Let's get straight into it. It's the mighty book, right, of 2 Timothy chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse number 20, right? It says this. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Yahweh standeth sure, having the seal that God knoweth them that are his. So it's a lot of people with fringes on, beards on their face, meat trees, head wraps for women, and dresses on. But the Lord actually knows them that are his, them that can go through the fire. And you may be a builder. Now you see all this piece of wood, and guess what? It's all yours. But you know which one you're going to use. You're going to know which one you're going to use the hammer with, the nail, which one could be sturdy, what you're going to put on the roof, what you're going to put in the attic, what you're going to make as a foundation, what stones you're going to lay, what sheet rock and mortar and brick. You're going to know as a master mason and a master builder what you're going to do and how you're going to build your house, man. And the Lord is building the house right now. And each one of us are a vessel that the Lord is using in the temple, man. You got some of us just because we know the name Yahweh. We know the name Yahweh. We got fringes on, and we're in the congregation. We think we're safe, man. And the Lord said, and let everyone that nameth the name of Yahweh depart from iniquity. But in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood. So in a house, it's not just everybody on fire. Everybody's not going to be the gold and the silver, man. You got to really take heed on what you're presenting yourself to the Lord and how you're actually helping to keep the temple together, man. Or are you just in the way? Or are you just need to be replaced? Are you breaking it down and making it further weak? Of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. The Lord is a let me get this quick precept real fast, man. Right? Let me get this quick precept in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15. This Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, right? And I'm going to start at verse number 7. For the potter tempteth, right, soft earth, fashioneth every vessel with much labor for our service. So you have a master potter, right? And I want to get this real fast, what actually a potter is. Now, this is a potter. Now, the Lord is known as the potter. Now, every potter, he's literally spinning that wheel, shape-shifting and making a perfect vessel. The Lord is not sitting up there taking a clunk, putting little eyes in it and a smiley face and sticking it, man. No, the Lord is taking his time and he's shaping the elect every single day. He's taking you. You may have been that nasty dirt, spit and clay, man. But what did the Lord do to you, man? He put you on the wheel, meaning he called you. He started to spin that wheel, meaning the Lord started dealing with you, man. He started to work with you. But what happens when a potter, he starts to make that vessel of earth, man? What happens to that vessel, man? It starts to change. It may get thinner, it may get thicker. It may grow. It may be flat. It may be thick. It may be thin. It's going to be uncomfortable for that literal potter making it and that clay being changed, man. And it's going to be hard being changed, man. Because we're supposed to be after the image of Yahweh every single day. And what changes us? When we're made by the potter, temptation, plagues, afflictions, all of these different things, tragedies, man, death in the family, right? Getting hurt emotionally. All of these things change our mentality, how we deal with every situation. Stop thinking that you're just never going to deal with anything in this truth, man. It starts off like this, right? Let me open this up. This right here, right? It starts off like this. This you in the world. Just coming into this thing, man. Right, let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book out of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse number 7. This Genesis chapter 2 and verse number 7. And it reads, and the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. See, it literally made from the dust of the ground. And what is dust? When it gets the water into it and the breath of life into it. Let's find out. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 18. It's Jeremiah chapter 18 in verse, right? I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to start at 2. Arise and go down to the potter's house. The potter's house is the Most High. And there he will cause thee to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheels. So the Lord is wroughting a work on the wheels as we speak, man. They're starting off like this: a weed smoker, a liar, a thief, a murderer, an idolatrous, a whoremonger. right? In Christianity, a Muslim, a liar, a thief, all of these different things you may start off with. But what does the Lord start doing? Salaki. He starts to move you, man. He starts to change you. And that change, man, is being in the fire. You got to leave your friends. I mean, am I really married? Am I not? Do I lay down? I need counsel. You start to figure out what the commandments are. I mean, do I keep this job? I'm a waitress for a woman and I'm showing myself this is not virtuous. You start to lose money. Things start to get different. Family members start leaving you, man. You're sitting up here thinking, wow, you're the oddball and a black sheep. Nobody wants to hang with you. You have no friends. This is the Lord changing you on a potter's wheel, man. But it starts off for you to be like this for the Lord to start moving with you. Now, certain people in the world on another fold, they're already built up. They're like this potter right here. They're a big vase already. They have money, cars. They may be an athlete. They may be in college. They may got a degree. They may feel like the world has shaped them and what they should be, man. You know that, I mean, I'm a theologian. I'm a philosopher. I'm a doctor, right? I'm a scientist, right? I'm in the HBCU college, man. I'm in all of these things and the world has shaped me up. Let's find out what the Lord said. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. What does it mean the vessel was marred? Meaning we're marred as a people, man. We think we're perfect. Our blank don't stink. We don't need help. We're proud in our low estate. We're marred in the potter's hand, man. Meaning we need to be worked on. We need to be tried through the fire. We need to change. So he made it again, another vessel. Meaning he broke down a vessel before or took that clay and made it all over again, man. That's being born again. As it seemed good to the potter to make it. Check that out, man. Then the word of the Lord came to me saying, O house of Israel, cannot I do this with you as this potter? Saith the Lord, behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. So the Lord has us in his hand. And we have to change. We're bricks, you understand? We're stones. We're clay. We're everything. We're a master mason and man and a goldsmith or somebody that's a creator of a house is going to have to build with, man. It's all symbolic, man. Let me get this quick precept. Matter of fact, let me get this quick point. Let me see if I could find it. Bear with me. All right. Now check this out. This is on a potter. Is it easy to be a potter? Pottery isn't easy to become good at doing. It takes practice. So the Most High has to deal with you patiently, man. Now, when you're in the fire, a lot of people faint, but the Lord's merciful, man. As a master potter, the Lord he may cave in a little bit. Then he puts a little bit more clay, starts to build you up. That's the meekness and love and mercy of the Most High. It takes practice to be a potter. Patience. Because how many times do we fall in this truth and failing? How many times have you went off this week, man? But yet the Lord is still dealing with you and shape shifting you, man. Now check this out. If somebody was building a Lego set and they was a kid, and then it fell down, then the kid, then you make it again, then it fall down. Then you're like, he's sitting up there, he getting upset, man. He pouting. The third time, he gonna kick that Lego set and go in the next room, man, and steal some snacks and peel off and watch cartoons, man. But the Most High, we keep falling, we keep falling, we keep falling, we keep getting marred. The Lord keep making us again. This is the patience that a potter has to have with his vessel. Time. Because look how long it took you to come into the knowledge of faith, man. You didn't repent yesterday and was on fire the next Monday and start teaching the next Tuesday and start holding your Passover that next Thursday, man. It took time in this thing, man. I don't know about everybody else, but it took me a good solid couple of months to cast away a couple of strongholds that were binding me up in the spirit, man. A lot of people have cigarette demons, lust, weed, idolatry, Christianity, love and affection of certain things that cloud their judgment. So the Lord takes time with his vessel and creativity. Check that out, man. You got certain people, I mean, they're just a doctor of the law. They creativity. They're going in the law. You got philosophers. You got certain people, they're I mean, the Lord gives you everything. Prophets, elders, right? Governors, princes, priests. The creativity that the Lord has with his vessels is endless, man. You don't know what you could be in this thing. The Lord can shape you up and make you a teacher. The Lord can shape you up and now you're sowing for the nation. The Lord can shape you up. You're taking care of the kids and you're a teacher, right? To the children at home, man. So the Lord can take you up with the creativity and you thought you'll never be able to account to those things. Check that out. It says, as far as having a knack, it will make it somewhat easier if you have somewhat of a natural artistic creativity ability. Many people learn skills without having a natural gift, right? So, I mean, when you go into that potter, that thing is serious, man. Now, I want to get something real fast. A potter, right? So, like, you bear with me.
One with two walls, the outer wall typically being carved, and the inner wall usually contain the fluid.
So you got a potter.
So they start
And the potter get his hands
in a similar
dirty,
way.
building this
They're
thing
normally
up.
thrown, I guess not normally, but typically thrown upside down, so that you would open it up like you would the donut, all the way to the wheel head. You'd move it out, and then you'd separate the wall on the inside and the outside. So for this, you don't want to do it right in the middle. If you do it right in the middle, you're going to have two similar sized walls. On this one, I'm going to move a little more towards the inside.
Look, then he just starts changing it. Adding, taking away.
It's called the side wall.
Now this is mortal man. He's going to mess up.
I'm going to pull up towards the center as well.
Look, you're going up, you're going down.
Sure, press it.
Being made thicker, thinner.
Inside out, top to bottom.
Every day we're being made again, man. Renewness of the mind, stronger. And it hurts going through change, man. And change doesn't happen overnight.
Typically, these are thrown pretty thin because they're going to be carved.
Now, we're not going to watch this whole thing, but let me go back to it. In the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15:7, and it reads, for the potter tempting soft earth fashioned every vessel with much labor for our service. Yet of the same clay he maketh both the vessel that serveth for clean use, and likewise also such as serve to the contrary. But what is the use of either sort? The potter himself is the judge. So whether that be the righteous and the wicked, you understand, Jacob and Esau, or whether that be you. Because the Lord could start with you, but then he could discard you, man. So this is very serious. And employing his labor lewdly, he maketh a vain God of the same clay. Even he, which a little before was made of earth himself, and within a little while after returned to the same out of the which he was taken, when his life which was lent him shall be demanded. Straight up. Let's go to the next precept. Let's go to the mighty book of 1 Corinthians, right, the 3rd chapter. So being a master builder, all of these different things, you understand, they make them break us in this truth. And we can't lose track of why we were created. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 10. According to the grace of God, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereon. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Hamashiach wa Malak Yahushua. Now, if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest. Meaning the Lord is going to watch you of everything you made. It's going to be manifest. Now, if you're saying you're gold, you're going to have to be tried in the fire. Now, what temperature melts gold, man? It says 1,948 Fahrenheit, man. That's hot. Meaning you're going to be broken down to be made pure at a very, very hot temperature, man. Don't think, brother, the tire going out was testing your faith. All praise to the Most High. I endured. There's nothing wrong with that, man. You're going to have little things like that. But that should be the most smallest thing on your agenda of understanding how much the Lord is going to break you down or melt you in this thing so that he could build you back up like a potter's vessel. It says 1,948. Now, I want to get this real quick. I want what temperature starts to burn your skin. 111 degrees. You go from 1,948 to just 111. See, your skin starts to burn at 111 or 118, man. But yet the gold, because mortal men have skin. Yeah, we all have skin. If you got ears to hear, we know. But I'm talking about the gold. The gold is the elect, man. The elect are going to have to go through things mortal man is not going to go through. Man is just going to die off. He's going to suffer in the family and he's going to die. He's not going to have the tribulation. His mindset isn't going to be able to endure. He's not going to face the things that the elect, which is gold, is going to have to face, man. Gold has to be burned down at a strong temperature because it's strong itself. Now, skin is carnal, it's flesh, it's easily to be broken down. Easily. I mean, there's certain people, they're just going to faint in that day, man. They're going to die off. They're going to bow down. They're going to pledge allegiance, their heart and spirit to this world in captivity, man. You have certain men, they're going to be burnt down in the fire, but to be purified, man. Let me get that real fast. Let me go back to that. Salaki. Let me go back to it. Right? It says 119, Salakia 48, has a melting point of 1,945 degrees Fahrenheit. When alloyed chemically combined with other base metals, with melting temperatures of the resulting alloy is changed. So you get changed in the fire, man. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Let me go back to that. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and 13. Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide, right, which he hath built thereon, he shall receive a reward. So if the things you have been building abide in the day, right, the Lord is going to give you an everlasting reward, everlasting life, immortality, the kingdom of heaven. But it's not going to be given to you. It's not just going to, you're an Israelite, you know what, here you go, king. No, what happened to the 12? And they had to suffer persecution, man. John was on the island of Patmos, but nevertheless, you have Mark, Matthew, James. These men suffered martyrdom, man. They went through it. What about Hamashiach wa Malak Yahushua? Now, when you go through it, it says the melting point of gold, that is the temperature which gold changes, right? State from solid to liquid is 1,000, right? 064 Celsius. Small quantities. Now, we're not going to get too deep into it, but nevertheless, it has a temperature to where it literally changes. And that's on a spiritual level, you reaching your peak of the furnace of adversity so that you're changed. And not change for the worse, but change for the better, man. It says this: the molten gold needs to be poured quickly to avoid any unevening, right? It says at the end of the entire process, final material needs to be analyzed in order to assess the gold content and its purity. Gold melting is a necessary process to refine gold. It says it's a necessary process. Meaning you can't have gold, man, without breaking it down to purify. It's a necessary process to refine the gold. Did not the Lord say in the book of Lamentations, how has the fine gold have dimmed? Paraphrasing greatly. So we're dimmed. Dim is like dirt. It's in the ground. It's in the lowest state. It's not at its peak and its clarity. Just get that in the book, right, of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 1. Let me get this real fast. It says, how is the gold become dimmed? So right now, what's the dimming mean? You're in the dust. You're in the ashes. You're in the lower state. You're in America. You're a slave, man. You're nothing in the society. You're looked at as a nigga, man. You became as the gold you once were at your peak when the Lord proved you in the wilderness, man. When you read the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 4 all the way down. The Lord proved you, man. We walked after the Lord. The Lord saved us. Read the book of Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 2 all the way down, man. He said, thou wentest after me in the wilderness, man. So the Lord proved us at a point, and we used to be gold, but now we forgot our God. We started to cleave into idolatry and lust. In America, man, put our trust in idolatry. Now we became dim. So what does the Lord have to do now? You take that old gold and you wrap it around your neck, man? No, it has to be broken down. Look how much dimness and dirt and all type of slime and mud and impurities have mixed in the lower state that we've been in, man. It would be foolish to take that gold and put it in the temple. At this point, we have to be burned down to be refined. How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. We're the stones of the sanctuary. And we're poured out everywhere, man. Smoking weed at the liquor store. Just all the stone. Imagine the temple. Broke down the temple, nothing but rocks and stones. Just spread abroad, man. God's city, his chosen. Dim, nothing, spread abroad in lower state. Says the precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earth and pictures? Now we're just looked at as just nothing but wood, man. Earth and pictures. The work of the hands of the potter, man. So the Lord could break you down. He could lift you back up. Let's go to Sirach chapter 38 and 27. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 38, right? And verse number 27. Right? And it reads, it says, so every carpenter and workmaster that laboreth night and day, and they that cut the grave seals, and are diligent to make great verity, and give themselves, right, to counterfeit imagery, to watch to finish a work. So if you're a true goldsmith, a master potter, if you're a mason, if you're going to be a if you're going to be these type of men to get in there and change the purity, you're going to have to watch to finish the work. And you're going to have to labor night and day. Let me get this real fast. Let me get out of that. Get out of this too. Goldsmith job description. Because the Lord is a goldsmith too, man. We're master goldsmiths on the right-hand side. Goldsmith designed to make gold jewelry, man, including jewelry with precious and seemingly precious stones. So the Lord makes us, you understand, from the gold we are, but the Lord takes us. And he might have to beat down that gold, man. You might have to bend that gold. You might have to stretch that gold, man. You might have to be tried and melted down and made back up. A goldsmith is gonna really beat the hell out of that gold, man. Did not the Lord say in the book? Let me get this quick precept. Right? I believe it's Psalms 12. Right? And the Lord said his words are beaten and tried. So the Lord is with proving and beating and getting everything together through the Spirit, man. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 12, in verse number 6. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth purified 7 times. So the Lord purifies his word 7 times. How much more you? And his word is perfect. His word is Yahushua. Yahushua has been purified. He's been tried. He's been put through the furnace. He's been made low under the angels, man. With earth and flesh can die, can be spit on, bruised, beaten, manipulated, lied upon, false counsels, all for you. And the Lord was broken down to be tried. And where is he at right now? At the right hand of the Most High God, man. It says, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. So the words of the Lord are purified 7 times. How much more you? Let me get this quick. It says, Salaki, bear with me. Check this out. Now these goldsmiths, they ain't no joke, man. Take the gold, he melted down.
Do you live in Maryland?
Salaki. Right? Get this little ad out the way. Take the gold, they melted down, brought up in extremely hot temperatures. That's going to be you in that day, man. You're either going to come out and be melted and boiled to nothing and not separated from all your iniquity, or you're going to come out of that in the fire and show the Lord that you were truly his gold from the foundation of the earth, man. Look at that. It's like lava. Over 1,948 degrees, man. And it's still being purified. This isn't a one-step process, man. It isn't for 5 minutes. There's no telling how long you're going to be in that furnace, man. But at the end, you're going to be fine gold, man. Fine gold. And we're not going to watch this whole thing. But at the end, you're going to be made what? Fine gold in this thing, man. Let me get a quick image. Right, if we could get one. Right? So these goldsmiths, man, this is serious. Let me go back to it. It's Iraq, right? Chapter 38 and verse 28. The smith also sitting by the anvil and considering the iron work, the vapor of the fire wasteth his flesh. So you have certain men, they're just working on the anvil all day. They want it so bad that they risk their flesh being burned, right? And wasted away as they work. Meaning even a carnal man in this world is going to sacrifice his own flesh, man, for the work that he wants. You got a lot of people like my uncle, man, right? He had big damn work hands, man, like gloves. He used to always be on a car or lifting up a tire or doing something. And he sacrificed them calluses in his hands, having hard joints for the work that he possessed and he did, man. The same way with a workmaster. You can't be somebody that's in the field, a mechanic, and have no grease on your hands, man. You can't be a man that says he's so-called, deals with boxing and never got a cut on his face, man, or never been bruised, or never bled. You can't say you're in this truth and you never caught hell. You don't have anything that you came out of the fire with, man. Hey, Paul said, I bear in my hands the marks of Yahweh Shai. Let me get that real fast. So even Paul said, man, physically, you could tell I'm in this truth, man. Physically, man. Yeah, I got stoned, I got beat, I got bruised. Right? Everything happened to Paul, man. And in the midst of all of that, what happened, man? He came through the fire. So this is very serious in this thing, man. You have to endure until the end. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Bear with me. Let's go to the mighty book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 17. Right? And it reads, it says, from thence let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahweh Shai. So he said, look, man, when you look at my body, I'm marred up. I'm beat. Hey, Paul, he had cuts on him. You probably seen where he got stoned at. A lot of people that MMA fighters, they got that swollen ear. Or they got that cut. Now you could tell this man's kind of rough, man. Hey, Jacob slept on a rock. So Paul said, man, in this truth, you could tell, look, I bear in my body this thing, man. You're going to have to bear in your body. People want to have to know through the situations you've been through, the testimonies you hold, and being tried and burned, and the temperature being changed in the fire, that you got to be made a new creature, man. A stronger man. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? I'm going to hold that inside wrap. I'm going to go to Isaiah real fast, chapter 43. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, right? And I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, when thou passest through the waters, right, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overthrow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, hold on now. When thou walkest through the fire, did not the three holy children walk through the fire, man? Literally, no scratch, no burn. Hey, we don't even know in that day whether we're gonna really feel the amount of terror physically that we think we're gonna feel, man. The Lord may jack your spirit up like Stephen. Stephen was getting stoned calling upon the name of the Lord. Now, Stephen didn't go to stoning practice. You know, he didn't have the neighborhood Israelite kids knock him upside the head for practice every day to strengthen up his mind and his head. And he didn't get on a jogging wheel to get afflicted like an MMA fighter or martial arts, man. No, the faith and the Lord putting that in his spirit jacked him up so much that he was calling upon the name of the Lord in his death, man. All of that goes on the amount of faith that you're accumulating in this day too. Can't just say, well, I'm ready for the day. I know Revelation is the 13th chapter. I know Daniel the 9th chapter. I know Daniel the 11th chapter. Revelation is the 2nd chapter. I'm going to link that up. And you know all of these prophecies and breakdowns. Brother, you better be building up that faith, man. Because when that temperature starts to change, you're going to only think of one thing. You're either going to think about giving up or you're going to think about enduring. And when you think about enduring, you got to think about our forefathers that endured. That's what the Lord told you to do, man. Let me get this real fast in the book of James, chapter 5 and verse 10. That's literally what you're going to do in that day. And I'm going to prophesy it unto you, man. When this day comes upon you, you're going to be thinking about our fathers, thinking about Yahushua, thinking about Jonah. You understand? In the belly of the whale. You're going to be thinking about Daniel in the lion's den, thinking about Job. You understand? With the boils, how he was given over to the spiritual demon Satan. You're going to think about James, how he was persecuted by Herod. You're going to think about all of these things. It's the book of James, chapter 5 and verse 10. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. So we have to take all of these prophets for an example of suffering. Isaiah saw it in half. You know, these men have went through hell for the name of the Lord, man. How much more us in the last days? We have more knowledge than our fathers, man. A lot of our fathers didn't have the books that we have. They didn't have Google. It wasn't this much prophecy and latter rain on the earth that it was during the time of the droughts or the time that the Lord took the prophets away. When the Babylon exile went and the cold kingdom was spoiled and certain things like that were happening. You better take advantage of it while you still can. Affliction and patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. So we have to look at all of these accounts of these men which endured. Have ye heard the patience of Job? So in his affliction, it didn't say, did you hear of the might of Job? All his sit-ups he did so he could prepare. Or he got his skin together and got that ointment. He got that black seed oil and he took away those bumps, man, and those boils. Know the patience of Job. You have to be patient in this estate. It's going to be hot, uncomfortable, antsy. I don't know if I could do this. I mean, just put on a shirt and take it and flip it on backwards and walk around the house. You can be like, I'm uncomfortable, man. Let me take this shirt off. Getting all antsy with a shirt turned on backwards. How much more with no food? You may not have shoes on. You're walking in the middle of the street. You're going to have to patiently endure whatever situation is going to come upon you. And have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and tender mercy, man. So as we're in the fire, whether the temperature be high or low, the Lord is very pitiful and tender mercy. We can't forget that too. You don't want to shake in your temptation and think immediately. Like David said, I said in my haste, I am cut off. Nevertheless, thou heard the affliction of my voice, paraphrase, right? So it says, and very pitiful and tender mercy. So the Lord has very tender mercy upon you as you're in the fire. reading on from Isaiah 43, says, when thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. For I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for a ransom, Ethiopia and Sheba for thee. So the Lord said, look, you're not going to be burned in that day, man. And that's not talking about physical. It's not saying that you won't physically feel any type of affliction, because you're going to feel affliction. What it means you're not going to be burned is it saying you're not going to be given over to that for it to destroy you. That's what it's talking about. Let's go to the mighty book, right? Of Job, chapter 23. It's the book of Job. Right, let me get this quick precept. All right. Let's see what I want. It's the book of Job, chapter 23, and I'm gonna start right at verse. This whole thing is fire. I'm gonna start at 10. But he knoweth the way that I take. When he have tried me, I shall come forth as gold. So Job knew that when the Lord was trying him in that estate, and he prophesied it that he was going to come out as gold. Imagine being broken down, and nobody's with you, nobody's counseling you or helping you, man. And you prophesy like Job, but he knoweth the way that I take. Meaning the Lord's going to know me out, man. I mean, I could go through this path and get, yelled at and chased, or it's dark down here, it's wet, it's gloomy. He knoweth the way that I take. I mean, it's nowhere I can go that he's not going to be with me. When he have tried me, I shall come forth as gold. So he was confident in a state of affliction that he knew that he wasn't going to fall. My foot have held his steps. So in affliction, the Lord's going to lead a path for you, man. That's what this is talking about. It's not talking about Christianity, man. And you walk down that aisle, the famous aisle in the Christian church. It's always a pew on this side, a pew on that side, and one aisle, man. No, that's not what that's talking about. My foot have held his steps. The steps are the shepherd leading you to the kingdom of heaven. The steps that are in is Yahweh Shai leading, and our forefathers which have led the way. Peter, James, John. Think about sheep. Now, all sheep, they're not in just one line, you understand, vertical line. No, it's like a line to where you have sheep in the beginning, you have sheep kind of in the middle, you have sheep in the back. Let me see if I can get a quick visual. Now we're in the back because we're the last generation, right? So you got Yahweh Shai, which will be around here leading the sheep. You got Peter, James, John, the men that were, the first establishers of the church and the pillars. And then you got the rest of the prophets and the elders and nobles. And then in the back, you got us. That's what it means when he's saying that he has held the steps. Let me read that again. My foot have held the steps. His way have I not kept. So like his way have I kept and not declined. So don't decline his ways by following and getting lost when the Lord is leading you, man. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. So these are the accounts and situations that we got to think of, man, constantly, and it's true. So that we don't get antsy, we don't faint. We have to know that with the affliction, it's going to come, you understand, change. It's going to come growth. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Right, let me get about one more and close out. I got to go to camp. Right? This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. And I'm going to start at verse number 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chastises, and scourgeth every son whom he will receive. So you have to embrace the scourging, even though that seems impossible. It seems like it's mean, it's out of season. Why me? Not right now, my situation. Could it be tomorrow? Why is this happening? I don't know if I can serve him. The Lord knows I'm dealing with this. Why would he add more? This is the cup of love, man. It says, if ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. So if you go like this, you turn your back, you're not strong in the furnace of adversity, the Lord is not going to deal with you as a son. You're going to be a bastard. And I don't know about any of y'all, but I don't care about the nation's children, man. If I go to the daycare and I pick up my child, I'm not finding out if the Elamite has had breakfast or not, man. Or the Moabite, did he do his homework? Or the Edomite, is he getting straight A's or is he failing? I'm pointing about my child that I care about, that I'll chastise. I came and drove to pick up, that I love, that I have to feed and build up, man. That's how the Lord gets down. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof are ye all partakers? Then are ye bastards and not sons. Meaning you have two options. You could choose the life of affliction, or you could choose the life of fun and dancing. Because when we was in the world, we wasn't getting chastised. As soon as you quit your job, or as soon as you left your job, what did you do? You go rob somebody. You go get quick money. You go sell some dope, man. You go work on a Sabbath day. It's easy to make money in the world. It's easy to make ends meet, man. You've been waiting and waiting for a wife, huh? It's been 2 years, man. It's been 3 years. You're sitting up there just walking up and down mourning, man. But it's not that hard in the world. Go to a club, a bar, shoot at work, anywhere, waiting at the bus stop. I mean, whores are everywhere. Sitting up in these situations to endure chastisement, whether it be emotionally, financially, physically. I mean, in the world, man, it's 1,000 things you can do, but not in its truth. You have to be patient. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which have corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they barely for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness, man. So, I mean, that's very important. And jump down to verse 12. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet. So now it's time to stand up, man. The Lord is saying, yeah, you've been chastised, you've been beat, but you know why now. Get up, be strong. Understand that this is your lot, man. This is why I created you, to love you. Whether you understand my type of love or not isn't the purpose. You read more, you understand more, you pray more, and the Lord will give you that cup. And as you start to drink that cup, you start to embrace that cup. It says, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way. What does it mean when your feet are lame? Lame, you're sick. A lot of people, when you're not on fire and you're not dealing with the Lord the way you should be, your feet start to get lame. Meaning any amount of affliction that the Lord may put on you, which are burdens, you start to get shaky and weary. You're not in shape. Then it starts to feel heavier and heavier. You're not able to carry that cross, and your feet start to wobble and go out of the way. You may go to sin. It's God knows what you're going to go to. A woman may run into the arms of another man. A man may run into the arms of another woman who's not their wife, and not even trying to make them their wife. Just chit-chatting and talking and fornication. You want to be able to bear the cross so that your feet may be strong in that day and not be lamed and turned out, but let it rather be healed. And who's going to heal you? Who's the physician? Who's the goldsmith? Who's the potter? Who's the king? Who's our father? Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. That's the only one that's going to be able to help you to endure all of these situations through the Spirit. Right, let me get this closing precept. Let's go to the mighty book, right, of Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before God. So the Lord is telling you, man, that your works aren't perfect. There's always more work to do, and it's true. It's more reading, praying, more fasting. It's always something to do in this thing. If you faint and you have all these opportunities, and when I say opportunities, brothers don't know how blessed and sisters don't know how blessed they are with all of the opportunities the Lord gave you. I'm sure there's somebody in your phone that's an Israelite that you could call, that you could fast with. You may have a congregation. It's 1,000 videos online. I mean, you got a Day of Atonement. And even if you didn't have man, the Lord said, when mother and father shall forsake me, then the Lord shall lift me up, man. then the Lord shall lift me up. So, I mean, the Most High, he's never going to forsake you. It says, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come unto thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching, the Lord is going to visit you like a thief in the night. A thief in the night, in the middle of the night. And when I say the middle of the night, this is what I mean. Let me get one more quick precept. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Real fast. Chapter 17. This is how the Lord is going to visit you, man. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 17, and verse number 3. Thou hast proved my heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Thou hast tried me and shall find nothing. And David said, man, I'm clean. Physically, emotionally, my mentality, my spirit, my garment. And look, I repented. I'm on fire. I got a heart after the Most High own. I love him. I read. I take care of my family. I build up the nation. I fight against the enemies. Hey, the Lord has proved my heart. That's why the Lord told David what? Go do all that is within thy heart, man. What if the Lord told you that right now? Go do all that's within thy heart. You may go to sleep, man, for a long time and just wake up whenever. Go do all that's within our heart. You might just start going to go get something to eat, man. Go do all that's within your heart. It's 1,000 things you may go do and go the hell off, man. Because your heart is not right. It's slothful or it's wicked. It deals with sin and lasciviousness. What did the Lord say? This First Chronicles 17 and 1. Then Nathan said unto David, do all that is in thine heart. Nathan didn't tell David, do all that's in the Most High's heart. Do all that the Most High shall tell thee. Nathan told David to do all that's in your heart, man. I thought the heart was the most wickedest thing created, along with the eyes in a woman. But yet David's heart was so pure unto the Most High, to love him, to trust in him, to be proved and understand why. To go through all of those Psalms that we read about, 150 of them, and call upon his name in each and every one of them, man. It says, go do all that is within our heart, for God is with you. So when it says, he has visited me in the night, has tried me, and I shall find nothing, I am proposed that my mouth shall not transgress, man. Check that out, man. So he had the mentality that no matter what's going to happen, that he's not going to transgress. Right? Let me close out with this last precept. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 7, in verse number 3. Right? Oh, yeah. How will my God, if I have done this, if there be iniquity in my hands, if I have rewarded evil unto them that was at peace with me, yeah, I had delivered him that without cause is my enemy, let the enemy persecute my soul and take it. So David said, look, man, if I'm not up to your standards, Lord, when you visit me at night like a thief, then let the enemy pursue my soul. Now, when is David whooped to shreds when you read 1st or 2nd Samuel? When was David put to flight? When was David killed, man? When did David get thrust through? When did all David's bones break, man? It never happened. So when the Lord visits you by night, David had the type of mentality that, Lord, I'm going to always be ready. My shoes going to always be girded. My mind's going to always be sharp. I'm going to always trust in you. He said to the Lord, let the enemy pursue me, man. So if the enemy was pursuing, Salaki, if you told the Lord, whenever, I'm ready, whenever, I'm ready, I'm just ready, whenever, whatever, whenever, man, you'll be put, you might die tonight, man. Hey, we all might die tonight. That's a different type of spirit that David had, man, that we all got to push to inquire, to endure affliction, be strong, to have a pure heart. All of these different things, the mind of the righteous are going to shoot for, man. Let the enemy pursue my soul and take it. Yeah, let him tread down my life upon the earth and lay my honor in the dust. Salah. He said, man, don't let me be a king no more. Take my kingdom from me, my crown, my family. Lay all of my honor in the dust if you find iniquity in my soul when he visits me by night. The Lord isn't going to visit you in the daytime all the time. It's by night. Let's go back to that. Like a thief. Let me read that precept again. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse number 3. Remember, therefore, how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So you're going to get that same reward as the wicked if the Lord will visit you in the time when you least expect it and you don't have fruit on the tree. But with that, I'm going to close out, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach, or Malak Yahushua. Shalom.